What is going on, everybody? It's Stock Picks by Tim, and today I'm going to get into a couple stocks. First, we're going to touch on Indie. I'm going to get into CleanSpark. Also, talk about Astra for a second. We'll get into Bitcoin and Ethereum in the end here. But first off, talking about Indie Semiconductor. Indie had a very crazy day today. It just ran up. Meanwhile, most all of the semiconductors kind of dropped with exception of Micron. That one actually went up quite a bit today too. But then it started selling off. And the same thing happened with Indy. Now it does seem like we hit a double bottom here and it started blasting off. You can see that clear W here, but it is kind of selling. Although after hours, it started turning back around and we were kind of just going sideways. I love Indy. I love the team here. And no, I'm not selling at this price. I'd rather hold this very long term with like a minimum of a year. But I was talking about this one back under $10, and I still think it's worth a buy if you don't have any. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor, but personally, I'm going to just continue slowly buying this when dips like that happen. I thought that was a clear buying opportunity. We are still respecting this ascending line here. You will see from the RSI we were getting a little overbought and then it started selling off. I mean, that's just nature. It went up a little too far too fast. At one point I saw it almost up 9%. And yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what happens. It's the swings of the market, especially something kind of young like this. This is still an early stock. I still think you're getting it early if you do get this. We have a great executive team. And to me, it's like, why sell this? Even though it's been running up a lot, I've been slowly just playing options mostly with this, doing cash secured puts and stuff like that. I believe in the executive team, and that's one very important thing about a stock. And I've got, of course, other videos about Indie where I kind of go into more detail about the actual company. But let's continue on down the list. Indie is definitely a buy and hold for me. Next up is going to be Volta. Now this one has actually been kind of selling off. And I did say that I love this under $10. I did expect it to kind of cup and handle. Seems like that's not going to happen. And we are just kind of selling off. That's just kind of what happened with the uncertainty of the market. Sometimes things just pop up that you can't really foresee, and that kind of stuff happens. But nonetheless, we did sell off, and I'm looking for it to bounce here in the low nines. We do find some support there previously before this little run up we had on the infrastructure news. But yeah, for me, Volta is definitely a buy. If you don't have any of this, it's definitely, I think, a buy. And yeah, I'll continue purchasing this. I did buy a small amount of this one today. I do like it under $10 for sure. If you were not in this yet and you were just trying to swing trade it, it would probably be best to wait to see a rebound and just wait to see it kind of bounce upwards. Because right now we are kind of continuing to sell off and it could do the same thing tomorrow. But we'll see about that. And let's get into the next one. And Astra is getting to oversold territory according to the RSI on the 1 month. And to me, it's a buy. If you're trying to swing trade this or day trade this, I would wait to see a turnaround. This continues to kind of be a falling knife on the short term. I would wait to see it bounce on this ascending trend line that we have here. It ran up like a rocket on the success of their orbit and then just completely fell off, and it dropped almost as much as before it ran up. But to me, this is definitely a buy. They've already proved themselves and they will continue to do so in my opinion. I do have a previous Astra video where I talk about the CEO bringing up a hint that there's going to be some more news coming up very quickly. But yeah, for me, Astra's a buy where it's at, and it does look oversold, and I'd be happy to buy it. Just continue to purchase where it's at and potentially even take some small profits here in like the upper 11 range just to secure some profits, because this one does seem to be very volatile. It does bounce around a lot, and I'm going to be pretty quick to secure at least some profits on this and take some money off the table. That's just how I play this one, but I like to swing trade a little bit, make a little money on the side, well, and then that gives me the opportunity to potentially buy more if it drops again. But yeah, definitely like Astra where it's at, and I'll continue to buy it. Now CleanSpark has just been continuing to get hammered, and you will see it does kind of consolidate here, so we will see if it tries to test this. But this is partly because Bitcoin's kind of cooling off lately, and we did have a pretty rough day in the market. But I'd happily buy CleanSpark where it's at. If Bitcoin tries to test those 60,000s again, you know this is going to start running again. They seem to be kind of rebranding themselves, but they did create a new channel, and I'll leave a link to that below, so check it out. But yeah, I love CleanSpark. They seem to be getting going on the PR, and that's a good thing to see. I mean, people don't know about this one. It is a kind of somewhat small stock compared to Mara and Riot. But yeah, I continue to love CleanSpark where it's at. I'll buy it here. I don't care. I'm long term on this one, so I don't really care that it's probably likely to continue to fall a little farther. I like loading up on this one. I love CleanSpark. And their earnings is coming up on the 14th of December, so watch out for that. They're expecting a revenue of 23 million, so we'll see if they hit on that. And they're actually expecting a positive earnings estimate of 0.7 cents earnings per share. So we will see what happens. I'm pretty excited. And even if earnings is bad, I don't care. I will continue to hold this one. I do have faith in CleanSpark. CleanSpark is more than just Bitcoin mining. They're also solar, microgrid. So this is kind of an all-in-one. I don't have any other solar stocks. This is definitely one of my favorite highest conviction stocks here. And getting into Bitcoin, we did try to run today, but we pretty much did take it back and it did kind of fall a little further. I'm just going to continue to dollar cost average. I mean, when you zoom out a little bit, it does seem like it's kind of consolidating here at this level. This was the quick Omicron variant going on, and then it quickly came back. So, I mean, I'd rather aggressively buy it here than to buy it higher in the 60s and, potentially 70s if we do see it soon, which I'm pretty convinced that we will at some point. It's just a matter of time. We've got all the big institutionals loading up on this, and if this continues to rise, all the altcoins will probably rise too. If this drops, the same will happen to most of the rest of the crypto market. But I do like to see it consolidating here, and we're pretty much in the middle on the RSI on almost all the different time frames. I'd personally buy it here. I don't mind. I'm just dollar cost averaging, and I also have my BlockFi card just collecting Bitcoin rewards for me. That's why I kind of go heavier into Ethereum, because those Bitcoin rewards kind of make up for that, so I can kind of split the difference. And I go equal parts Ethereum and Bitcoin, and then the altcoins is like another 30-40% of my crypto portfolio essentially. And looking at Ethereum, it is kind of cooling down too. We had a very nice rally, and we were touching just about 47.5. We were getting really close to 48, and then it started just kind of cooling off, falling off. I did just add to my position when it was in the low fours. So if it can pull back a little bit more, I'd buy. But RSI wise, it is kind of jumping up. But yeah, I'd prefer it to come down just a little bit. I like it in the low fours. But we'll see what happens. If you don't have a position, it's always great to dollar cost average, in my opinion, and then you can just buy through it. And a lot of these other cryptos are actually run off of Ethereum. And as more and more people pile in and get in with Ethereum, this is going to become more and more scarce. And I love Ethereum and think Ethereum is great to have, because you will see here, and this is actually a couple days ago, so it's probably 4.5 billion now at this point, but over 1 million Ethereum worth 4.3 billion has been burnt since the EIP 1559, or the London upgrade. I'll leave an article for this one as well, so you can look through it yourself. The daily burn rate is about 11,500 ETH, worth about 50 million per day. Sensational. And the network has actually switched to a deflationary issuance several times over the past couple of months, as more ETH was being burnt than being produced. So this is pretty crazy. And in 2022, in the first half of 22, it's actually expected to become fully deflationary, and it will be a negative 3.2% per year, meaning that the supply will actually decrease, meaning what you have will go up in value. I'm more than happy to continue to buy and hold Ethereum just over time. Put in BlockFi or Voyager, get some rewards along the way. So while I'm just holding, I'm also reaping the rewards of staking. But let me know what your favorite stocks and cryptos are in the comments below. Thanks again, guys, and have a good one.